Welcome everyone to another Complete Fears 2 replay cast. This time it is a 2v2 on L-Star Skirts once again. Our players are going to be Sully and Stark playing as the German forces in the south, both OKW. And in the north we have Farah 13 playing as the Soviet Union and Korean guy playing as the UKF. Gonna be very hard to pronounce that name. I'm not even sure how it's supposed to be pronounced, so I'm not going to even try. And we're just going to follow him and his friends around in this match. He will be the one who will have uploaded the replay to koto.org. This is straight from there, and so let's hope that it will be very fun. You do already see a cube wagon out from Stark, and his friend Sully is going to be rushing, I think, for this building, this wind building right by the field point. Very important to capture that, especially because Korean is also coming in trying to capture it as well. But unfortunately, it looks like the Sturm Pioneers will be trying to capture the point. A little bit greedy there of a maneuver from Sully, so he will be paying for it with the infantry sections managing to capturing the building, and they will be able to lay down a lot of fire on the Sturm Pioneers. Unfortunately, there is a bit of a blind spot for the building where the Sturm Piles can actually insert themselves and fire without getting fire back. But it doesn't look like they're using it, and they're getting slaughtered by the Lee Enfields just coming from the building, and that will be very, very bad for the Sturm Piles, especially since they capture the point, but they will be forced to retreat, and so the infantry sections can now just simply go in and capture the point. On the other side, Stark has managed to capture the stone structure, and he will catch out the combat engineers by surprise by just hopping back into the building and managing to lay down a very, very devastating volley of STG-44 fire on these very poor combat engineers. But unfortunately, there is a Maxim machine gun. It was a double trap from Farah, and he will be able to suppress the combat engineers, or rather the Sturm Pioneers, before they can manage to get back into the building, and so he will manage to force them to retreat. There is a cube wagon in the field, which will be good for Stark if he can use that to surround the MG Maxim machine gun from two sides, having the flank from the cube wagon. That would be pretty nice for him. Unfortunately, it does look like his friend down here, Sully, is getting pushed back by the Vickers machine gun, and there is pretty much nothing that Sully right now can do against this Vickers, which is entrenched in the building, and that will be very hard for Sully to deal with because he will need to have an infantry support gun probably to deal with it. Otherwise, I don't really see how he's going to be able to dislodge this very annoying Vickers. And both of the allied players are just hunkering down on various different sides of the map. Looks like Farah in the north, especially on the field point, and also trying to keep control of the center with the Maxim in the Stonehouse. And in the south, on the field point, we do see a couple of units from Korean. Unfortunately, he will be cut off by the fact that he doesn't have this territory under his control. Now, this is probably a big mistake because he does have the forces available to go and cap. He could just send this infantry squad down and capture that point, and thus getting the fuel resources from that point, which would be very vital for him right now because right now the Allies are ahead of the Germans in terms of fuel income, but that's only because of the Germans not controlling any of the points. Whereas if the Allies were controlling the strategic point over here, they would also have a much bigger advantage over the Germans. The Germans managing to scrounge together a little bit of a force to come in and do a nice harassment maneuver, which will be a nice play from Sully. He will also try to come in and cut off this fuel point from this area, but unfortunately there is the Maxim Radiant available to counter this threat. Unfortunately, there is a flank coming in from the south. Volksturnier is going to be coming in from both sides, both from a stone wall cover and a truck. So both in heavy cover. Unfortunately, one of these two squads will get suppressed before it reaches heavy cover. And there is a mortar on the field for Farah 13. Wipes out the squad with the first round. Holy shit, that was a really good mortar shot. That was insane. And right now, the Sturm Pioneers have managed to capture the point, but they will be a little bit forced to retreat because they're isolated completely. If we can take a look at the minimap, you can see that they're completely isolated from their friends, and the only help that is available nearby are these Volksturniers, but they're kind of pinned down by this Maxim machine gun, so they're not going to be able to essentially move anywhere. They're forced to stay in this truck cover. Now there is a second Volksturnier squad trying to come in and rescue them, but the machine gun will just shift its arc of fire right over their shoulders, and then the other squad will get mortared to death from this very, very deadly mortar, which already has 4 kills and already wiped out one of the squads. Very close to wiping out a second squad, and right now the Sturm Pioneers will be taking a lot of damage also from units nearby of the Allied base. They are basically just outside the door They're just ringing the bell right now, and here comes the answer. A bunch of infantry sections coming in and will be doing a ton of damage to these storm piles. Going to be forced to retreat. There looks like a bit of a skirmish in the south between these two buildings. Stone building will usually prevail in this kind of environment because of the more windows that it has. As you can see, 5 windows compared to 2. But there is the Vickers machine gun coming in. There will be a incendiary grenade coming in from Stark. Obviously, he will be sacrificing a lot of these Volksgrenadiers just to throw down that incendiary grenade, which right now would tell me that he was trying to follow up with something. And here's the follow-up. These Volksgrenadiers will be caught by the second machine gun and suppressed. Unfortunately, the Stonehouse will also fall to the British because obviously the Volksgrenadiers were suppressed, and so they were not able to counter this move. There is a very nice move with the Kübelwagen. Going to be finishing off the Vickers machine gun, which was taking a lot of damage from that incendiary grenade, and then the Kübelwagen's swift maneuver managing to put an end to that very annoying piece of equipment. Now, the infantry sections will be able to recruit that, and on the right side of the map, we do see a bit of an allied advance. These conscripts from Farah will be trying to close in the distance against these Volksgrenadiers. Volksgrenadiers in no cover, in fact in negative cover. They will be taking huge amounts of damage and will be wiped out by the conscripts mercilessly. So revenge for these losses that the Allies have taken in the south in the form of a very good wipe in the north. Right now, 2 squads have already been wiped for the Allies, or sorry, for the Germans. And that's a bit of a problematic situation for Sully and Stark. They will be able to recover some of their infantry forces, but again, they have been slowed down. Their veterancy will not be quite as fast and quite as hard-hitting as if they had saved those units. Now, the Vickers machine gun over here seems like it's going to be repulsing these Volksgrenadiers very much in the open. Can't do much against that machine gun, but there is a flank coming in from the Kübelwagen. Kübelwagen taking fire from a flamethrower engineer sitting by in the nearby house. They will be able to do a little bit of damage to Kübelwagen, but of course, Kübelwagen being essentially a vehicle with a tiny bit of armor will be able to at least fend off these combat engineers for a little bit longer. Now, obviously, the machine gun, the MG34 on the Kübelwagen will be just dealing a huge amount of damage to these very, very unfortunate sappers. And now the counter to the Kübelwagen comes in the form of the AEC. EAC will be able to easily take out the Kübelwagen, not before the Kübelwagen takes out the Vickers machine gun crew yet again. And yet again, he will have to recrew that and lose the veterancy, which is a bit of a shame for him. Another attempt in the north by Sully to capture this VP. Unfortunately, he will be facing off another conscript squad, but this time he has managed to build some heavy cover for himself. He will not be able to use it entirely. The line of sight is a little bit in favor of the Soviets. They can put down some flanking fire on that standby position, but there is a flank coming in from these stern piles. He will be able to just put down a ton of fire from the STG-44s on these very poor conscripts who will be forced to retreat. Very good job coming in with that flank. Farah has chosen the advanced warfare tactics, and he has gone for the tier 2. Lovely, lovely support companies. We'll be able to bring out the Zisguns. Obviously, the Maxims have already been on the field for a while, but with the Zisgun, he's kind of assured that he will not be taken by surprise by any kind of light vehicles that the Germans might be trying to bring out. Speaking of light vehicles, it doesn't look like Sully will be bringing out any soon. He does have the battle group headquarters, so the SDKFC flak half-track is available to him, but he hasn't purchased it, and he has about 100 fuel, so I'm pretty sure that he will not be going for it anytime soon. He would have already gotten it out had he intended to actually go for that. Stark also went for the battle group headquarters right nearby, actually, Sully's battle group headquarters as well, so I'm pretty sure that they're doing that to avoid having to spend both 15 fuel and 100 manpower on field medics. Now, in the north, Sully has gone for a bit of a flanking maneuver with these Stern Pioneers, managing to place down a couple of mines and trying to bait these Papasha conscripts over them, which will kind of work, but they will also... did that kill a Stern Pioneer as well? Well, it did not do all that much damage, regardless of whether or not it killed a Stern Pioneer. Remember, mines only do 2 casualties at maximum after the nerf, so it's a bit of a, I think, waste to go for mines against infantry. Of course, still very important to go for mines against vehicles, just to put down those very nasty crits. Now, there are a couple of field guns on the field, or free field guns out for the Germans, which will be going to town on these very, very poor infantry sections, along with an incendiary grenade. Will be doing a huge amount of damage, and these infantry sections will be going down along with the pyrotechnics upgrade and their veterancy. Very harsh loss for Korean guy who have fucking lag. Yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure he's also lost something else. It does look like he's kind of low on units. Yes, he's lost on infiltration commandos, and well, the Vickers machine gun teams were obvious, but yeah, she's lost the infiltration commandos, and that's really bad because those are 440 manpower units who are very, very specialized in dealing with enemy infantry. And right now, the enemy infantry is on the field, but it isn't that strong yet. So it would be exactly the right time for the infiltration commandos to shine, where the Volksgrenadiers still don't have a lot of upgrades, still don't have a lot of energy. And also when there's a lot of very juicy support units that they can flank and destroy with their grenades. So I'm very unfortunate that he lost those infiltration commandos. Not sure in exactly what circumstance, probably when I was looking at the Storm Pioneers. Right now it does look like the Germans are on a bit of a, I guess, resurgence. They were doing pretty well in the beginning, but then they got pushed back right to their trucks, partially because they invested a lot of resources in these trucks and in a lot of resources in these support guns. But right now, thanks to the support guns, they're starting to push down a ton of fire on these very, very vulnerable British machine guns and general emplacements from the Allied forces. And so that will be very good for them to dislodge these very entrenched Allied positions. Will not be as good for them for a pushing strategy, but they don't need to push that yet. They still have at least a semi-control over the center VP, so they can kind of delay the inevitable VP bleed that's going to be coming their way soon enough. And as long as they can do that, then they're going to have all the time in the world to actually build up an artillery the hell out of the Allies, as well as build up some of their later game units. Very nice play from Sully right now, capturing the building over here. And unfortunately, right now, Farah does have quite a bit of munitions stockpiled, but he's not really utilizing them at the fullest potential, aka demo charges. What you really want to do with the demo charges is wipe out enemy units. What you really want to do in general with your munitions usage is wipe out enemy units, because essentially you want to be not wasting them. With the mines, you're going to be having to essentially just always rebuild the mines because they're going to get triggered basically all the time. Haha, triggered. And as long as that's a vehicle and you can capitalize upon it and finish off the vehicle, then that's fine, thanks to the critical. But with infantry, it's really not that useful because they're just going to retreat and reinforce, especially with these Germans who have the battle group reporters right near the base, right near the battlefield, and they can reinforce from that very easily. Then there's really no point in actually causing casualties to their units. Very nice shot from the support gun, managing to get the revenge for that mortar shot earlier on Korean guy's infantry sections, and he's basically out of infantry sections. That's really a really bad situation for the British forces because he really, really needs to have some kind of infantry to be essentially a backbone for his other units to work around, especially these machine guns. The Vickers, while pretty good on their own, while having a very nice Harker fire and a very nice suppression, they just can't work on them on their own. So they're going to have some kind of support. And right now, what I would advise the Allies to be doing is coming in and essentially grouping up as one. Very nice shot from the AC armored car. Going to be sniping the Storm Pioneers and going to be essentially wiping them out from essentially existence. Going to be phasing them into nothingness and not even the bodies remaining. Now, Volksgrenadier is going to be capturing the VP on the left side of the map, and that's pretty good because right now the Germans have managed to bring themselves back in the game in terms of VPs as well. They have lost a few points, gone from 500 to 382, but right now they're back on track and ready to roll out against the Allied forces pretty much in full force. Now, obviously, the Mobile Assault Regiment has been picked. I didn't see fit in actually talking about it because there's obviously the Infiltration Commandos and the M2 Flamethrower that was shown from that doctrine. Of course, what's really nice for that doctrine and what's really about to come up and why I'm talking about it now is a land mattress at 8 command points. Very nasty piece of rocket artillery, which is going to be very, very, very effective against these support guns. Land mattress is especially good against the support weapons that are very immobile and are crewed by very, very squishy people like these support guns. Support guns up to 10 kills between them, which, considering it's free support guns, it's not that much, but what they essentially haven't been able to achieve in kills, they have been more than making up for in terms of actual impact because they have wiped squads. So that's kind of the trade-off for having the more wipes, is the fact that they have less kills. But it's fine because right now that also took away a lot of veterancy from allied units. Now, This hasn't affected Farah all that much, and in fact, Farah does have a few units that are willing and able to go up against and go toe-to-toe with some of the higher veterancy Axis units right now on the field. But unfortunately, a Ziskan was stolen by Stark. Very good maneuver. I would have also thought about actually salvaging it because he's already got a rocket converter and he's already got the ability to produce more of those. But I guess an anti-tank gun, if he was confident that he could bring it back to base, was a very nice steal, especially because the Zis gun against allied vehicles is pretty much excellent, especially against Soviet vehicles. Very nice wipe on that machine gun, and that's going to be a very easy steal for his Volksgrenadiers as well. Volksgrenadiers is about to get vet free off of this very unfortunate infantry section. Also, here comes the land mattress barrage, as I expected. Very nice damage on a lot of OKW units, but not a lot of wipes, not a lot of kills. And that's very unfortunate because he was expecting that first barrage to be the first, essentially most effective way to deal with a few of the enemy units. What you want to be doing with artillery is surprising the enemy with the first barrage and doing as much damage as possible with it. So I think that what Korean should have done... Oh, there goes the AC, unfortunately. As I said, very, very effective against allied vehicles. Allied vehicles don't have a lot of armor, and the weakness of this gun is the armor penetration. The excellent part about this gun is the rate of fire and the fact that, well, you can use that take aim ability, or sorry, tracking, to have the more line of sight. And also, obviously, the artillery ability. So it is overall a very nice AT gun for utility in general. Not that great against German heavy vehicles because of the lack of armor penetration, but that's really not important against allied vehicles. Now, very unfortunately, these Stappers did not know that there was a Schwer Panzer headquarters over here, and in fact, I did not know that there was a Schwer Panzer headquarters overwatching the fuel point as well, so that's pretty good for me as well. Now, Stark does have a few units of fuel stockpiled, but unfortunately, he does not have the manpower coupled with that to actually bring out any vehicles. Very nice job from Farah, going to be just essentially coming in and doing a very nice flank and capturing the munitions point. Also a few of the strategic points as well. What I really would have liked him to do is capture the VP, but I think he was expecting a enemy machine gun to be overwatching that VP position. And of course, he does not want his flanking maneuver to be essentially stopped in the tracks. And unfortunately, the T-3485 that he brings out from his advanced warfare will be running straight into the Zis gun. So treacherous Zis gun, going to be dealing quite a bit of damage against the frontal armor of the T-3485. The Storm Pioneers are trying to flank the machine gun, but they're getting shot at by the T-34. And T-3485 will not be quite as effective as the T-3476 at killing infantry, but it's good enough to at least deal a lot of damage. Coupled with that mortar going up to 11 kills and having the ability to shoot those flares will be a very nice asset for the Allies. Very nice flank coming in also from the Volksgrenadiers, going to be throwing an incendiary grenade along with the support gun Rain coming down on that Maxim. Will be forcing it to retreat for a safe haven. Now, unfortunately, on the left side, the Axis have been able to push quite a bit farther into the Allied territory than they would have liked. And right now, the Allies are trying to essentially desperately scramble back some kind of advantage from the Scrummel. Now, the medium vehicle is on the field for the Allies, and it's been the first medium tank on the field right now. There is a Lux on the field for Sully. I think that's a kind of a late Lux, and I don't exactly like it, but I see why he bought it. He bought it to essentially secure this right side of the map from enemy incursions and enemy harassment maneuvers. So what he wants to be doing is he wants to wait for these conscripts to go outside of their lines, go essentially very much behind the German lines and be very far from any kind of relief, and then come in with the Lux and try to wipe them out, especially utilizing the fact that the Lux has that excellent mobility to chase down those squads before they can escape. Now, not sure if he's going to be actually successful with that, but that's, I think, the thought that drove Sully to actually buy that Lux, because otherwise I don't really see the Lux being very useful as a frontliner at 19 minutes in the game, especially when there's a Cromwell on the field and a T-3485 as well. Here comes a second barrage from the Land Mattress. Land Mattress is plagued by a huge cooldown, obviously 100 seconds after Veteran Z1, but at Veteran Z1 you reduce that cooldown, so normally it would, I think, be a couple of minutes, maybe a little bit more. Right now, managing to get quite a lot of kills with that second barrage, up to 10 kills with the Land Mattress, and that's exactly what I was talking about with the effectiveness that it can have to take out enemy entrenched positions and enemy support guns and any kind of artillery support weapons overall. Unfortunately, the support guns also have the quite nasty capability of taking out very massed infantry, as the conscripts do tend to bunch up with each other. They're particularly vulnerable to this kind of barrage. Here comes an SU-85 from Farah. I definitely agree with this decision, although I still think that Farah is not using his resources as well as he could be, especially the munitions. He definitely needs to be using more of his munitions. I would advise him to go for a second combat engineer squad. Combat engineers are very useful for not only placing down traps, demo charges, mines of all kinds, but also because once you can upgrade one with a flamethrower and one with a minesweeper, you can have both a building removal unit in the form of the flamethrower and a mine removal unit in the form of the minesweeper, and then you can also have a double, essentially a double capability of repair compared to normal one engineer builds. Of course, here comes a very nice Parents of Faust from Stark. He will be essentially putting this Comet out of action, not Comet, Cromwell out of action for a while. The Comet is not available right now for Korean because he does not have the hammer tactics, but I definitely advise for him to actually go for the hammer tactics. He does not have the manpower required right now. He needs to be replenishing a lot of his forces as well. And so I think that he's not going to be bringing it out anytime soon, but I would definitely advise him to go for one because on this very open map, the Cromwell can excel with its very, very, very good mobility and its nice flanking opportunities. Now, very nice coming in from the this divisional field gun with the artillery barrage almost taking out the mortar, and the Vet 2 Maxim will be taken out by the Lukes. Lukes will be in trouble though because the T-3485 is coming in to avenge his friend, and right now, firstly, the T-3485 can't exactly push into the German territory because who knows what kind of monstrous anti-tank defenses the Germans have at their disposal. But unfortunately for the Germans, it's only this 5, this 3 field gun, and of course this will kind of discourage the T-3485, but it will also provide a decent target for a strafing run. Now the strafing run, the tactical L2 attack, is not exactly that good. It's a very, very bad usage of munitions. It's okay against support weapons in general, but it's not really that effective at killing enemy infantry. It's decent at suppression, but again, it's not a very good use of 90 munitions when you could be buying a demo charge with the exact same price and wiping out, for example, a Vet 2 Storm Pioneer or a Vet 5 Volksgrenadier with that. That's going to be a much better investment over your very hard-earned munitions. And right now, there is a Command Panther on the field for Sully. Obviously, Command Panther very, very popular these days because of its excellent ways to improve your army in various different ways, especially once you reach that essentially Vet 5. Of course, it almost never happens that you reach that Vet 5, but just in case you do, the enemy has to be very worried. And also, it's very, very good. Bonuses towards vehicles are in general just very nice to have. Now, Stark is probably going for a King Tiger. He has all of the buildings set up everywhere, and I'm not sure where his mechanized regiment headquarters seems very close. I guess he will be using it for the automatrons soon enough. The repair pioneers being very useful to keep the German tanks in top shape. Now, Su-85 will be pretty effective against the Panther if it can keep the distance. Now, the distance will be kept by the fact that there are these conscripts around, and that's exactly why you don't lose your infantry also, because he's going to have those anti-tank grenades very, very effective against rushes from this Command Panther, and if the Command Panther eats an anti-tank grenade and is on the open, then it's gonna be in a world of hurt and gonna have to retreat with unorthodox methods, such as, for example, some kind of sacrifice for another unit. Sorry, just taking a sip of water. T-3485 also taking a lot of damage, and there is a map hacks wagon on the field from Sully. It's been on the field for pretty much the entire game. I think about 10 minutes. Let's see if we can find it. I don't see it. Where is the map hacks wagon? Hold on. I'm just looking for that vehicle, but I don't see the production. Oh, there it is. Yeah, 13 minutes. Yeah, for about 10 minutes. Very, very nice purchase in 2v2s because let's just turn on the Fog of War. It can just light up all the enemy units like it's a candy, essentially a candy bar. Not sure why it's a candy bar, but it is a candy bar. I just said so, so it is. Yeah, very, very nice just to see what the enemy is trying to do, what the enemy is planning. and that's kind of forcing the allies to play around it if they want to achieve any kind of surprise on their offensives. And it's also very nice because it provides targets for these support guns, which have been just pounding the ally positions. 2 kills on this one, but I think this one lost its crew because it's sitting right in the middle of a ton of moon craters from the land mattress. 2 kills from this one, but also, again, tons of craters over here mean that it probably lost its crew over here. And then 7 on the last one. Command Panther coming in and using the coordinated fire ability. Very, very nice for only 35 munitions on the T-3485. T-3485 will be responding in kind along with its very, very deadly friend, the Su-85. But the Su-85 will get blocked. Its line of sight will be blocked by these bushes, and the bushes will be saving the Command Panther from a grim fate. And also, these Volksturniers are very much surrounded by a ton of Soviet forces, and they will be forced to retreat. Thankfully, the machine gun seems to have set up in the wrong way. So also with the ZIS-5 just coming in with the artillery barrage, taking it out, going to be forcing it to retreat, saving those Volksturniers from a grim execution from that machine gun. Now, very good purchase with the Sherman Firefly. Going to be countering the Command Panther with the Tulip rockets if he can scrounge together some munitions, which right now he does not have, but soon enough he will. Very good usage of the land mattress, up to 30 kills, and just continues to pound on the German defenses around the battle quarters, and that's going to be very, very hard for the Germans to deal with. They're going to need to essentially have some kind of push, go towards the land mattress, clear out all the other units, but very smartly, Korean guy is pulling the land mattress back to base. Very, very smart maneuver because the land mattress is vulnerable, trained by only people and not a vehicle. So he's going to be putting it back to base whenever it's reloading, thanks to its very, very long reload time. That's not of a problem, really not much of a problem. And so he's going to be able to bring it back as soon as he needs it, and it's recharged. Now, still a bit of a fight over the right side of the map, but the Germans have a huge advantage in terms of actual territory held and territory captured. So this is going to be very, very good for the Germans in the long term if they can keep control of a lot of these points, especially the right side field point and the right side VP. They're going to need to keep control of those points just in case the Allies have some kind of ace up their sleeve. I'm not sure if they have noticed the Firefly yet. They will soon, thanks to the map hacks wagon just scanning the area. The map hacks wagon has decided to pull back a little bit because of its fear, I guess, of a land mattress stray around hitting it. Obviously, it's a very lightly armored half-track, so if a land mattress barrage comes in and hits the half-track with quite a bit of rounds, then it's going to go down fairly quickly. So very nice that they are keeping that in mind. Now, a lot of mines are being placed by Korean guy, and that's really good. Unfortunately, he's taking a lot of fire from the Command Panther, and he will be taking the coordinated fire as well. But the Cromwell is only a bait for the Sherman Firefly to come in and lay some rounds on the frontal armor of this Panther from the long range of its safety net. Now, unfortunately, the push that was combined with the 2 T-3485s and probably the Su-85 that is... Oh, no, the Su-85 is not moving up. That's definitely a mistake because there's a King Tiger coming in. The coordinated push from the Allies was completely repulsed and just shrugged off by the Germans, especially thanks to the King Tiger. Now they can counterattack and do a lot of damage as the Allies are kind of out of position right now. The Su-85 is basically blocked by his own building, and that's going to be a problem because right now they need that Su-85 to deal with this King Tiger. King Tiger is also pushing up without any kind of infantry support, but will be able to take out that very, very pesky T-3485, as well as do a lot of damage to this mortar pit by just, by just running over the crewmen. Along with the support guns, they will be able to take out the veteran C3 on that mortar with the help of the King Tiger. King Tiger taking a huge amount of fire from the Su-85, which is being spotted, which is receiving spotting from these Maxim crews, so it doesn't need to activate the focus sight to have that lower movement speed. And that's going to be pretty much it for this engagement. There is a little bit of a push coming in from the Germans on this side as well, but it looks like the machine gun that was stolen will be taken out by the Cromwell, but the Cromwell hits the Panzer II Lukes. And so the Lukes, with its skin, will be able to actually save the machine gun crew. Now, machine gun crew, I'm pretty sure Stark sacrificed a Volksturnier squad to actually keep that machine gun, which might or might not be a good thing. Now, right now on the right side, FAR 13 going for a very nice flank and managing to capture these points. Very nice VP capture and munitions point capture. I think this is a mistake. This positioning of the machine gun is a mistake because just look at the dots that are telling you where the unit is going to position. If I were to position the Maxim machine gun on the open over here, I would be getting a fairly spread out formation on the crew members. But near the log on the yellow cover, you are getting a very tight, very disorganized formation. When these support guns decide to actually fire on the Maxim machine gun, they will be doing huge amounts of damage to that clumped up group of infantry members that are just sitting ducks for it. So I'm pretty sure that Farah does not know exactly how to position this Maxim machine gun to its fullest potential, because the yellow cover will not really be doing much for you, because any kind of infantry will be coming in, and from the front, if the Maxim machine gun is shooting at the infantry, they will be suppressed and will not be able to shoot back with any kind of accuracy or precision. But if they're coming from the flank, the yellow cover won't be mattering at all. So obviously, it's just a bit of a calculation that you have to do. What if I'm getting flanked? What if I'm going to be getting shot at by artillery? That's exactly when you don't want your machine gun clumped up in a cover position. Now, Luke's and Command Panther are just coming in and trying to deal with this Firefly, but the Firefly will be smartly pulling away, and right now the land mattress looks like it took a bit of damage and was forced to retreat. It's another land mattress and a Katyusha, so this rocket artillery town coming in from the Allies. So there's 2 land mattresses on the field. The second one managed to get off its first salvo without any kills, which is a bit of a problem, but at the same time, it's got quite a lot of time to actually redeem itself, so it's going to be fine for it if it can manage to get a couple of good barrages from that artillery piece later. What I don't agree with is the Katyusha purchase. I think that Farah should have focused on Su-85s and T-34-85s on pretty much a 1-to-1 ratio. He needs the T-34-85s to just have that mobility, to have that very good pushing unit that can flank the enemy without any remorse, and can be expended sometimes in suicide missions to take out the enemy heavier value targets, such as the King Tiger, especially slower ones, especially following up on something like this. Unfortunately, the infantry was not able to apply the anti-tank grenade on the King Tiger, but if they had been able to, then the T-34-85s, if they were present, could have been able to follow up with a nice flank and managing to take out that heavy vehicle. Unfortunately, he does not have the ability to do that because of the fact that he did not go for a second T-34-85 after he lost the second one, which is, in my opinion, a problem. Also, the fact that he only has one Su-85 is a problem, because he needs to be having at least 2 Su-85s to make sure that the King Tiger just cannot come in and poke the one Su-85 and expect it to trade in a favorable way. Because essentially what the King Tiger is going to be doing is it's going to be coming in, it's going to be poking out, firing a shot at whatever anti-tank unit is coming in to oppose it, and then coming back around its cover, such as these trees. Of course, right now, the very poor T-34-85 takes a Panzerfaust, and will be taking also an 88mm round from the King Tiger to the side. In an exactly reversed manner, as you'd expect, the T-34-85 flanking the King Tiger flanked the T-34-85, and paradoxically managed to kill it with a very good maneuver. King Tiger, up to 20 kills already, does have the Blitz ability from the Ved 1, and that's going to be very nice, because the Combat Blitz on the King Tiger basically means that if you can in any way keep attention to it and pay attention to it even in the most dangerous situations, you can get that King Tiger out fairly safely. Now, the Tulip rockets have been upgraded finally on the Sherman Firefly, and the Sherman Firefly is enjoying the support of a ton of artillery units. The 2 land mattresses are starting to pound the Germans once again on their base, but unfortunately they haven't been able to do much because they fired on blind ground. Or rather, they fired on a blind target. They didn't know what was there. Unfortunately, the Maphax wagon was destroyed, so the Germans will also be firing blind with their artillery pieces. Interesting purchase coming in from Stark, is a Panzer IV Ausf J. Not going for the Panther because I think he was expecting Sully to go for a Panther as well, but Sully went for a Panzer IV too, which is, in my opinion, a mistake. They need some kind of extra anti-vehicle force if they want to be dealing with this Firefly in a decisive way, especially because the Command Panther and the normal Panther just go together so very well, because you don't need to be microing them to account for the speed differences. They have pretty much the same stats, so having that Command Panther and having that normal Panther together is a very good anti-vehicle battle group, with the bonuses that the Command Panther will be giving over to the normal ones. And so right now the Germans have managed to essentially stop the Allies from just coming back in the game, because right now very good a very nice, essentially a very good play from the Allies could have brought them back in this game. But unfortunately, thanks to the fact that they were able to save that King Tiger, and thanks to the fact that the Allies were focusing a little bit too much on artillery, I think, then the Germans have had time to bring out that next stage, essentially, in terms of their army composition, which seems to have been these two Panzer IVs. Two Panzer IVs that, don't get me wrong, while perhaps not the best at countering something like the Firefly, will be definitely useful against Allied infantry. So nothing to be underestimated, especially considering that the OKW Panzer IVs do have that additional armor right off the bat. So they will be a little bit more resilient to the standard anti-tank guns, such as the 6-pounder that Korean guy managed to bring out. Now, he's definitely struggling with the manpower, and he's got 300 fuel to his name. Unfortunately, hasn't been able to spend that on anything, which is, in my opinion, a big problem for him, because he really needs to be using those resources to the maximum extent to bring out some kind of vehicle to counter the huge amount of German tanks that are on the field. The King Tiger is up to 33 kills. They need to do something about it before it inflicts a little bit too much manpower blade on the Allies for them to recover. The advanced warfare player, Farah, does not have, obviously, any kind of way to obviate for his manpower problem. So that's a bit of an issue with advanced warfare, is the fact that you're going to be expected to get a lot of conscripts out for the conscript repair kit and the conscript assault package, but unfortunately he will not have any kind of way to soften the fact that all these conscripts will be just bleeding manpower very, very harshly, especially if they do things like walk into this minefield. He needs to be noticing this minefield right away and not walk this conscript squad into it. Very lucky that the minefield does not do a lot of damage. In the meantime, there is a bit of a fight coming in the south. Looks like a British squad got wiped out, or no, almost wiped out by the support guns. As well, the Cromwell is going to be forced to retreat probably by the Panzer IV coming in. There is a Centaur on the field for a Korean guy. I think that's a mistake, because the Centaur is a extremely effective unit against infantry, but at this moment in the game, at 36 minutes, when the only real infantry to speak of that's kind of dangerous from the Germans is this Obersoldat squad, and there's 2 rocket artillery pieces that you have available to you, then there's really no point in getting a Centaur, especially when you're going to be losing... What was that? Oh no, that's the Panzer IV. That's J. Very nice shot with the 2-up rockets, I'm guessing, took it out. So, again, good plays and bad plays from both sides. I'm pretty sure that the Centaur purchase will be the end of Korean guy, because he really needed to bring out that Comet right now. Because with the Comet, he would be able to come in and have the Comet fight the Panther and the King Tiger, if required, just keeping them busy, and then have the Cromwell coming in from the side and bring down the Schwer Panzer quarters, maybe with the help of the lovely land mattresses, just pounding that building to oblivion and hell. And what I think that the Allies are really lacking right now is a little bit more presence on the left side of the map. They have been able to recapture tons of points on the right side. Soviets are very, very aggressive and mobile and dynamic in their play on this right side of the map. So it's very nice to see that Farah, despite his losses, is still kind of playing aggressively and putting pressure down on the Germans. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for a Korean guy managing to wipe out that Obersoldat squad, but that's because Sully was not paying attention to them, which is more on Sully than on his skill as a player, because I really think that right now, if he was a little bit more aggressive, especially because he has a Raketenwerfer, so he will be able to take out that Schwer Panzer quarters from the distance of the Raketenwerfer fairly easily. On the right side, there's a bit of a push coming in from the King Tiger, which will be taking out the Katyusha in one shot. Very nice flank from the King Tiger, along with the Panzer IV distracting this Su-85. Su-85 going to be taking a huge amount of damage from that 88mm shot right on its face, and the Panzer IV SJ will be helping chase down the very, very beleaguered Soviet TD, and that's basically going to be the end of the Su-85. No matter where it runs, it's going to get chased down and run down in the streets by those very, very nice German units, but the King Tiger will be going down from an excellent flank from the Cromwell. Vetfree going to be going down probably from the Zis. From a shot from the Panzer IV Ausf J. And now the Su-85 is in a little bit of a problem, a little bit of a pickle because of the Zisgun and also the Panzer IV going to be trying to flank it, but unfortunately there is the Tulip rockets coming in from the Sherman Firefly, along with its gun and the 85mm from the SU, going to be taking it out. And there is another Panzer IV J, so that's the second one from Stark, and it will be going down probably from the storm of fire from the Allied TVs. Unfortunately, very, very lucky to escape behind the building, and also very lucky that the Command Panther was able to take out this Su-85 before it escaped behind the building. The second Su-85, if you can see the minimap, it's still hiding around there, and the Command Panther will be using the combat bullets to finish off that Tulip rocket-equipped Sherman Firefly, but they will be killing each other in the last shot. What a action piece. Well, I think that the Allies came on top of that in a way, and the Germans came on top of that in another. The Allies came on top of that in a way because they managed to kill more units that were more expensive. Essentially, more resources in units were lost by the Germans because of that King Tiger, and also because of their units being very heavily vetted. The only Allied unit that was heavily vetted that was really irreplaceable was that Su-85. The second Su-85, also vet 2, is able to escape. Very, very nice hiding, just as well as coming in with the rescue from the other units. That kind of saved the action for the Allies, not losing the Su-85, but they lost the other one, and that's going to be a tough old nut to replace. Unfortunately, the Allies don't have quite as many resources stockpiled as the Germans. Right now, Sully is getting 2 Obersoldaten squads. I think that's a mistake. He could have gone for another Command Panther, and Stark could have waited a little bit to go for another Panther of his own. I don't think a second King Tiger would be the best decision at this moment. He does have the Panzer IV J in the meantime to just stopgap as an anti-infantry unit. There is a Bren machine gun that could be picked up by some very entrepreneuring German soldier, but I don't think that any are available right now around the corner. Now, very nice shots from the support guns. Going to be taking out the Land Mattress crew. That was up to Vet 2. Again, because of the huge reload time that a Vet 0 Land Mattress does have, that's a pretty bad hit to the Allied ability to actually pound the Germans in this area. And right now, very good job from Sully. Going to be coming in with the Stern Pioneers with that repair kit. Very, very good repair speed. Obviously going to be helping to patch up these buildings that have been getting hit by the rockets. So pretty much the reason that these buildings are still standing. And there is another King Tiger. Sully went for it. Now, that's interesting because Sully has the Command Panther available to him. So I think that definitely Sully and Stark are communicating in TeamSpeak or some kind of voice service, but I think that they could have coordinated this better. I mean, they just needed to wait a little bit longer. They have 50 VPs, or the Allies have 50 VPs, and the Germans have 250 VPs. I'm pretty sure they could have waited and played it safe, because if Sully were to bring out another Command Panther, and then Stark were to bring out a King Tiger, then that would be definitely the end for the Allies. Unfortunately, they were able to essentially do the opposite, and right now there is a King Tiger on the field instead of a Command Panther. I still think that's not exactly the best thing, because yes, the King Tiger is very useful even in the short term, but in general, having the Command Panther in the long term, I think would be more useful. Now, unfortunately, there is a little bit of a problem, is the fact that Farah is still using these munitions on the tactical L2 Stormovik attack. That's definitely a mistake, because he could have wiped so many German squads with more demo charges on the right side whenever he came in with his raids that were just forcing the enemy to bring back their infantry squads and come in and capture the points. Then he could have come in and blown them up with demo charges. Now, very good push from the T-485 is going to be taking out that Panzer IV. At the same time, the King Tiger is limping back to base with not a lot of health remaining to it. The support guns are firing, and right now the Cromwell is taking the bait and just trying to come in to finish off the King Tiger, but it takes a couple of very good shots from the Zis gun, which is up to vet free, and again, very, very effective with the rate of fire against Allied vehicles. And here comes a flank from the T-485. He's going to be trying to take out the King Tiger from the rear. There is an LEFH artillery gun that was just built, only fired its first round, and just did a little bit of damage, but unfortunately, the T-3485s will be coming through, and there's nothing to oppose them. There are no mines, there are no anti-tank weapons for the Germans available to respond to that, and they will be able to take out the King Tiger. At the same time, though, the Allies are pushing in the left side as well with these infantry sections that are up to bed free, so they will be able to probably capture this VP unless the support guns can say something about it, and support guns definitely have something to say about it. They will be coming in with their murderous rounds to help out the Obersoldan, and the Obersoldan will also be doing quite a bit of damage to these very, very unfortunate infantry sections who will kind of have to stay over here. They have to stand their ground and fight because there's not much of an alternative for them. Right now, these other Obersoldan are just standing over the demo charge. They will not get wiped because of this left guy who's kind of just standing in the area. And right now, I think Farah is also watching over the T-3485s. He does not want to be losing them. They're still rampaging through the German base, and they're going to be taking out the LEFH artillery gun. They're trying to, the Germans are trying to bring in the ZIS gun to stop those T-3485s, which will kind of work unless the T-3485s can smartly maneuver around the ZIS gun on this open field. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they will be able to, and this T-3485s will most likely go down, especially if it stops right in the line of sight of that AT gun. He could have managed to escape very narrowly. The second T-3485s avoids the Schumann coming in from Stark. And right now, the Command Panther? No, just a normal Panther coming in from Stark. That's probably a good decision because the Centaur Akak tank is still alive for Koreans, so he's going to be using that to great effect on the left side of the map. Unfortunately, the Germans have lost most of their units, and that's what I was talking about with having the long-term effect compared to the short-term one. Had they managed to have a more complete force with the Command Panther and the King Tiger on the left side at the moment of truth, that would have, or that might have managed to avoid the loss of that King Tiger, because the Command Panther would have been able to discourage a flank from the T-3485s much better than that Panzerfaust J was able to do, or I guess was not able to do. And so right now the Allies have a chance. They have 2 VPs under their control. The Germans don't seem to have a lot of infantry available to actually recapture any of the points. There's a triple cap on the way, and right now a triple cap is going to defeat the Germans in 3 minutes and a half, which should be getting the Germans a little bit of a worry. Right now, there's a Panther on the field for Stark, but the Panther is not exactly the best pushing vehicle, because yes, it is very effective against enemy armor, but it is not exactly very effective against enemy infantry, and especially against enemy support weapons. The Allies do still have a couple of support weapons available to them, especially this Maxim. Oh, unfortunately, there are no Vickers machine guns left for the British player, but he does have the land mattress, which is going to be reloaded in 50 seconds. So right now, the infantry sections will be able to capture the left VP, along with the support of the Soviets holding the center and the right side of the map. And right now, the mine, unfortunately, will be hitting that T-3485. It was inevitable eventually to have that T-3485 be hit by a mine. And unfortunately, the T-34 will be going down from the Command Panther, or sorry, from the normal Panther. Normal Panther taking a lot of fire from the Su-85 from the long range of that 85mm, but there are no German units ready to push in on the VP. And right now, the Allies have control of all 3 of the VPs, and on the right side, there is still this demo charge available to Farah. Farah also could be doing something bold and pushing up his combat engineer. Oh, they're all dead. Rip. Unfortunately, the combat engineers are all dead. Very nice flank coming in from the British player. Going to be taking out the vet-free ZIS gun, thus allowing the Soviet vehicles to have pretty much free reign over the battlefield. There are the Fireflies to be considered as well. They're coming in, and they're going to be taking out these German structures, because also the Panther was taken out, and it's now kind of abandoned on the roadside, and it's kind of frenetically being repaired. Desperately, the Storm Pioneers are trying to get the Panther back in action before the Allies can consolidate their win enough, but I think that there's not much that the Germans can do right now. The support guns are still available to them, but they're getting pounded, and the land mattress rocket rain eventually is bound to hit something. But unfortunately, the land mattress rockets don't hit anything, which is kind of unfortunate for the Allies. And right now, the Allies do have the control pretty firmly of all the VPs. Now, there are no German units coming from the right side. There are no German units coming for the left side as well. So the only chance that the Germans seem to have is the middle. But on the middle, there is the Maxim machine gun, very smartly placed from Farah. It will be able to, with the support, the fire support coming in from the vehicles, actually hold for at least a little bit, and that's definitely a mistake to use that tactical Il-2 Sturmovik attack right now, because even even if he does not want to place down any more demo charges, which he definitely should be, especially with the T-3485 being dead, he can hide the combat engineers over here by the smoke of the dead T-3485 and use that cover to actually plant a demo charge, just having it being unseen from the Germans. And yeah, again, even if he does not want to be placing demo charges, he could be saving that strafing run for when the Germans are actually coming in on the points to suppress them. That would be a much better usage for that ability than right now he's doing. Sully is going for another Command Panther. And that's right now the third huge tank that he's brought out. Second Command Panther and the King Tiger, obviously. So he's been wasting a ton of fuel on these big vehicles without really getting much of a return on them. That's partially because the Allies have been able to micro these Fireflies pretty well, along with the support of the Soviet player. Now, again, right now, he does not need a Panther. He does not really need a Panther to push up against this wall. He needs some kind of infantry. And as you can see, these Raketenwerfers are just so effective against the two Fireflies because there's absolutely nothing that the Allies have in terms of direct suppression of Allied infantry, German infantry units. So if they had a little bit more in terms of infantry, they would have been able to push much more effectively on the left side of the map. Of course, the Centaur was something that they had to worry about, but with clever usage of Raketenwerfers, they would have been able to actually stop the Centaur. Now, there is a Jagdpanzer on the field for Stark, which is, in my opinion, a decent choice, but unfortunately, he will get caught out from the flank by the Su-85, and the Su-85 at vet 3 will be having a ridiculous amount of penetration bonuses, which will mean that the heavy armor of the Jagdpanzer will not be able to stop the 85mm rounds from actually piercing it, and it will have to limp back to base. Unfortunately, the Germans are out. I don't think that they can survive. They have 6 seconds, or 6 seconds? No, they have 15 seconds left, and that's going to be pretty much the end. The Obersoldaten are trying to come in the center, but there is a Maxim machine gun ready to at least suppress them. Ooh, does not suppress them, actually, and the support gun Rain is also coming in to try to take out this very, very annoying unit, and there is a very good strafing run taking out all of the Obersoldaten. The Command Panther trying its last hurrah against the Allied tank destroyers, but failing. What a game. I'm pretty certain that the main reason why the Germans lost is that they kind of focused a little bit too much on support weapons at one point, especially with all these support guns and Raketenwerfers that they had, and they kind of neglected their ability to actually push into Allied territory. Now, what also kind of kept the Allies in the game was Par 13's very, very good control of the right side of the map. The Germans were a little bit more focused on having good teamwork, which is good, and it afforded them a lot of victories on the left side of the map. But unfortunately, they were not able to capitalize upon that and actually come in decisively defeat the British player, and then come in on the right side and pour a lot of damage on the Soviet player as well. There was that one moment where they were able to come in with the King Tiger and flank around on this area of the map, flank around the T-3485s and managing to snipe a couple of them and snipe one of the Su-85s. But unfortunately, they were not able to repeat that. And then once the Allies were able to bring essentially all their units to bear on one objective, which was to encircle the Germans and keep them pinned to their base, using then the land mattresses to pretty much masterfully pound them to submission, then the Germans were not really able to do much because, again, at that point, they didn't have any pushing units left because they lost in that very ridiculous armor engagement. They lost the cream of the crop of their panzer forces, and then what happened was that they couldn't replace at a correct rate, like at a correct order or rate. So what they needed to do was to get out as quickly as possible a replacement Command Panther to deal with the Sherman Fireflies and the T-3485s, and then bring out a replacement for the King Tiger from Stark. They were not able to do that, and that's, I think, the reason why they lost. But they definitely managed to bring a very nice performance, very good usage of support guns, combined with the map hex wagon at the beginning. That was very effective. I think they should have also brought out a second infrared half track, because the infrared half track is just incredibly powerful at all stages of the game, especially in team games, because you're going to be needing that very, 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 very nasty spotting unit if you're gonna be using correctly these artillery units, direct, indirect fire, especially the ones that fire without you having to tell it through a barrage, the ones that fire automatically pretty much need constant spotting in order to be cost effective. So having that would have been so much more devastating in holding the left side of the map. Just imagine if there was a hidden infrared half track, like maybe here, right? Hidden away from the area where it could get artillery from the land mattresses, and then if it were able to spot the allied infantry coming in to recapture this left side of the map, all the time they would have been pretty much stopped cold by the support guns. So I think that was also kind of a mistake. But I'm not sure. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed the replay. I definitely did. I hope you learned something. And I'll see you soon.